What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mike's Gourmet Kitchen. In today's episode we are cooking something a bit unconventional. It's a trend I've been seeing going around where people cook meat inside jars, especially on some Turkish cooking channels and a bunch of other European channels as well. So we are actually going to go ahead today and give it a try. We're going to be cooking chicken curry inside a glass jar. I'm assuming it's basically going to act like a little pressure cooker. I'm going to run you guys through the process and let's see how it turns out. If you enjoy the content, please drop a like down below, comment and subscribe. Let's get cooking. Perfect, let's get started. So let's grab a large mixing bowl. For the purpose of this video, I'm using about half a chicken. I think this is a 1 liter jam jar, the little seating top. You grab about half a chicken here, got the breast, some wing, a drumstick, and a thigh. Oh, lovely. Okay, as I mentioned, we are going to be making chicken curry. So to start off, I am grabbing some normal masala powder, about 1 teaspoon. One teaspoon of paprika for some smokiness, and about 1 teaspoon of some A1 masala. So the spice one I'm using is Osman's Taj Mahal. You get these everywhere, every store in South Africa. So let's get started with that. Add about 2 tablespoons of some sunflower oil. Should be good. And now we're just going to grab our hand and marinate this. First, before I forget, half a teaspoon of some pepper, finely ground black pepper, some ground coriander, and a 1/4 teaspoon of some turmeric. Perfect, let's get to mixing. Massage all that delicious spices into this. Once we're done, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt as well. Look at that. Perfect. Now I'm going to wash my hands quickly and let's start stuffing it into the jar. Okay, before we add our chicken to our jar, let's move on to preparing some veg. So from the garden, I've got some fresh coriander and some thyme. Let's grab our onion. We're going to cut these into pretty big chunks. We're not going to dice it down or anything like that. We want to maintain that texture from the large size and the fragrance of the onions. Okay, simply, I'm basically going to cut it into large wedges like this. I'm not sure how much we're going to fit in this bottle. This is my first time doing this, so we'll be doing it together. Okay, put those to the side. Got some cabbage here. Let's take it through the middle. Beautiful. I think half should be fine. Take off the end. And this will tear apart and mix in there. Perfect. Back to our mixture. Let's add 1 teaspoon of some crushed garlic, 1 teaspoon of some freshly crushed ginger. Let's start packing our jar. First off, add about another 2 tablespoons of some oil, just in case it doesn't burn. Or it wants to burn, we'll prevent that. Perfect. And now, let's take our hands, mix that spices will be thrown last, and start stuffing this jar. Don't worry, we are going to wipe the jar down. Just try and maintain all that marinade. give it a gentle press. There we go. All that spices. Let's add that to the mixture. Great. Let's start adding our onions. There's some cavities on the sides here. I think what would be a good idea is maybe to add some tomatoes to this, and some pepper dews, and maybe some fresh chili also. But I am preparing this for my fiance as well, and she does not eat it too spicy. Great. Stuff with some cabbage. And then lastly, we'll add that thyme. We'll press that on the sides. And just break up our fresh coriander. It's definitely not the prettiest thing in the world, but let's hope it tastes good. Okay, now for our larger spices, I'm adding some fennel seeds. I know it's falling on top now, but I'm going to be adding a little bit of water so it'll wash down a lot of the spices to the bottom. I don't want to add them to the bottom. Reason being is then they're only going to cook at the bottom and they're not going to be able to filter through the meat. And to top it off, we'll add 2 dried chili peppers. Beautiful. Top the end off with some more onions so we don't waste them. Beautiful. Let's add a few mils of water, not too much because the chicken's got a lot of water on its own. That's it, just so it doesn't dry out and causes stuff to burn inside. And that's it, guys. Let's quickly see how we're going to do this. So we are going to add a pot of boiling water on the stove. We're going to seal this up with the top here. I'm using one of these sealing jars, just like that. Let's add it on top. I'm not going to tighten it down too much, just in case something happens and it explodes. So I would not recommend kids doing this. Great, so it's not completely, it's still a bit loose on top in case there's a lot of pressure. Now let's boil some water on the stove and then get to placing that inside and see what happens. Okay, great. So our water's gotten to a boil. There's our container with our meat, veggies, onions, everything inside. Let's see what happens. Okay, that is it. So I'm going to turn the heat down to a low boil. And let's see how it goes. I'll check back with you guys in 30 minutes. Okay, perfect. It's been on the stove for about an hour and a half. It did take quite a bit longer than I expected. So let's grab this out. It was leaking a bit, so yeah, let's grab it out of the pot and see how it came out. Okay, perfect. So it looks like it is all done. Look at that. All cooked. A lot of juices. Let's hope it tastes great. Let's go ahead and pop it open. Super hot. Let's do this. Nice. It smells absolutely divine. Wow, I'm actually really impressed. Okay, let's turn it over. delicious chicken. It looks very juicy. Wow. And there we go, all empty, sorted out. Side there. Wow, that looks amazing. Well, I guess it all comes down to the pudding. Well, the proof is in the pudding, they say. Let's go ahead and give it a bite. Wow, still quite a bit hot. I think I'll probably serve this with some rice or bread. Let's grab some of that sauce. Wow, I'm pleasantly surprised. That is some really, really good chicken. My goodness. I prefer the sauce is a bit thicker, but obviously it's closed, so it's not going to become thick. It's not as oily as I'd expect it to be. The flavor is real good, enough spices, very fragrant, and actually very delicious. I would not recommend it though, it does take a bit long. It's probably a lot easier just to cook it in a pot or a pan. But that's why we taste everything on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below, comment and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.